If you've been around Corner Church for very long, you've heard somewhere along the way, you've heard that Corner Church is about being, not just about going. And this is something that, man, I am passionate about. I want to see people be the church. And I know, I see more and more always that, being is not something you just say, I knight you, go, be, go, do. It doesn't just necessarily happen. It's something that we need to work on. And I've been wanting to grow in my leadership of that and leading people into being the church. And so prayerfully, hearing what people have said, through our leadership meetings, I have seen 6 things that I know that we need to do as a church. The first one is that we need to be praying. We need to be praying for needs. We need to be praying for our community. We need to be praying for our neighborhood. If prayer is something that really matters, prayer is something that really makes impact, we should be doing more of it. And we should be doing it more organized. We should be doing it more organically. We should be doing it just continually. We should be leading people in prayer. And we need people that will take the focus, take the ownership of leading prayer as a church. Another thing that we need to do, and a need that I see, is helping and fostering, intentionally helping marriages in our community. You don't have to be a non-Christian for a marriage to be hard, to have hard days and need to work on it. In fact, everybody has great potential of a marriage falling apart. And so we need to do something intentionally in our neighborhood, in our church community, that would foster, that would build, that would encourage not just young couples, but all married couples to grow in their marriages. And also people that are pre-marriage, that we would do something to encourage, foster, that people would have healthy marriages in the future. We got to do something about it. Another thing that we need to do is we need to help with missions. I know that there is a disconnect between 20 and 35-year-olds and missions. I don't understand it because that group, the people the age group that I'm in, that is me, we've gone on more short-term missions trips than any generation before. But for some reason, we don't see our connection between what God is doing here and what God is doing around the world. How we invest financially, prayerfully, how do we go, how do we get called, all these things that we really need to work on. And we need to do this very intentionally. Another thing that we need to do is that we have an asset in our coffee house, in Corner Coffee, that we can be a philanthropic outlet to our community. We can be a trusted place where people can give back. And we should do this intentionally. Continually, we should have ways and opportunities, places where people from our community, from our Corner Coffee community, can continually and ongoingly give back to places that matter to them, to our community, to our nation, our city, to other countries, other worlds, other parts of our world. We need to be a philanthropic outlet. Another thing that we need to do is we need to help answer faith questions. Whether this is done through a small group Bible study, through a focus group, through just a forum or a dialogue place, a safe place to ask questions. If it's done organically, if it's done incredibly intentionally, if it's done through a series of weeks, if it's done through a book study, if it's done through just an open discussion group, we need to do things that we can be growing in our biblical knowledge and understanding, that we can truly have a biblical worldview and grow in that continually. We got to do something about it. And lastly, we need to invest in Loring Park. God has called us to do proximity ministry, not to just care for a community because that's where our church is, but to care for communities because that's where we are. And we need a group of people that will become Loring Park, that will live and become a great asset to that neighborhood and that community. And to join Matt and Maria as they launch this second site for Corner Church, being one church but with multiple locations. Now, thinking about all these things, prayer, marriage, missions, philanthropy outlet, faith questions, Loring Park, I think about God's relationship to us. I think that it's crazy. In fact, this week have laughed a couple times about how ridiculous it is that God would say, hey, I'm using you to go be my voice, to go be my hands, to go be my love and my compassion. I'm sending you into the world. It's almost humorous to think about how much God really trusts us. And now us as a church, God has given us great responsibility. There are some definite things that we need to do. And it's easy to say, well, Scott will take care of, or there will be a core group of people that will take care of. Well, this is something for all of us. These things are definitely areas that you can be involved in. And I'm asking you, to take a step, to look at these things, consider these things, and say, which one do you fit into? Which one are you the most passionate about? And then as we build teams in each of these places, these 6 things we will accomplish. And I believe that God will do great things through us in the North Loop, in the Loring Park neighborhood, in St. Anthony, Maine, in the Elliott Park neighborhood, in Phillips neighborhood, in St. Paul, and beyond. God will work through us as He's prepared these works for us. Let's do it.